Okay, this is by far the most preparation I've ever done for a video. I have been considering making this video for years, and almost did quite a few times, but always felt my music taste wasn't quite complete enough to warrant it. Because I've never really had the patience to sit down and listen to an album for the sake of it being an album. I've always ever just latched on to a singular song, and I've never really explored what album they were from. But as I've grown older, I have started to realize the benefits of albums and how they can tell stories, and how some of my favorite songs ever make more sense in the context of a larger project. So, in preparation for this video, I have listened through each and every album on the list, and every album in the honorable mention category. This list has taken me a long time to work out. It is not the same as when it first started. In fact, the first draft of the list, I think, only has 4 albums that are still on the list, due to me changing my mind on certain things, listening through albums and realizing I like them more than I thought, or not as much as I used to. The amount of times I have the urge to skip a song is really the way I measure how much I actually like an album. And, I'm not kidding, though. There are albums in the honorable mentions that were in my top 5 at one point. That's how hard it was to put this list together. But now I think I finally have the perfect list that is a representation of my music taste. So, without further ado, here is my top 10 favorite albums. Enjoy.
I'm not a soldier, I got soul, but I'm not.
Alright, number 10, Hot Fuss, released 2004 by The Killers. The bangers on this album are some of my favorite songs ever. All these things that I have done, Mr. Brightside, Somebody Told Me, and Smile Like You Mean It, all on the same album. That's so loaded, it's fucking crazy. So yes, this definitely deserves its spot at number 10. Number 9, Manic, released 2020 by Halsey. This album doesn't know what it wants to be, which is exactly the point of the album. It's so random, and it goes down so many genre rabbit holes that I'm not sure what genre to actually label it as. But You Should Be Sad has a country undertone. And finally, / Beautiful Stranger, my third favorite song of all time, by the way, is Soul. And then 3 AM is indie rock. And they're all great.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'm hard as a rock.
I swear my money goes, got bug blood on my
Coming in at number 8 is A Rock, 2020, released by Hardy. Now, unlike Manic, this album knows exactly what it is. It's about as country as it gets. Hardy has delivered probably the most non-pretentious redneck country to the core album I have ever heard. I normally make fun of shallow songs about trucks and beer, but behold, my favorite songs on the album are the ones that are called Truck and One Beer. Why? Simple, they aren't shallow. They tell stories. In fact, every song on the album has a story to offer. The former I just mentioned tells what the small details of a truck can tell about the person driving it. And it is actually pretty wholesome, because it's true. It is just one example, because this album is packed full of story-driven songs. And I wish I could tell you more, but this is like the type of album that I just don't want to give too much away. So I'll let you listen to it.
I guess I kinda like the way you know the pain, know the day.
Number 7, Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent, released 2019 by Lewis Capaldi. Sad Boy Music, the album. The album that is literally one big onion that is currently being cut. There really isn't a whole lot of variety with this album, which is my biggest criticism of it, but that is its purpose. It's to cry your eyes out when experiencing grief. It doesn't make it better immediately, but it definitely helps let that emotion out. It doesn't really have a single song that's an all-time favorite for me, but it does hold a spot in my heart for being there when you need it.
100 bad days made 100 good stories, 100 good stories made.
Number 6, Neo Theater, released 2019 by AJR. Now, this is the one that I have changed my mind a million times on. At first, I loved AJR. I thought they were the best thing that's ever happened to me. I listened to only AJR songs for almost an entire school year, which is unhealthy, never do that. I think I burned myself out from them, though, because I remember coming to a point where I said, damn, this is annoying. And honestly, their music is annoying, and I can't really argue that or say that it's objectively good music. From an instrumental and composition standpoint, the songs on the album are terrible. So you might be wondering, why do I have this album ranked at 6? To tell the truth, there really isn't a good way to explain it. I was going through really hard times recently, and I put on 100 Bad Days, and then ended up putting on and listening to the entire album. With the exception of Beats, because that song is vomit-inducing, but I guess I can't really explain why this resonates so much with me. They just do. There is something in how the messages are said that hits me. Like, don't throw out your Legos is the fear of leaving your home and your childhood behind when you move out. Or Karma being about still not being happy despite being good to others.
Can y'all hear me out here? Go speak.
Alright, coming in at number 5, Mainstream Sellout, released 2022 by Machine Gun Kelly. Now, kicking off the top 5 is Machine Gun Kelly's second pop-punk album, and it may not outdo the first one he released, but this one is still a treat. It does have some objectively low lows, but undeniably high highs. And it honestly has the best song that Machine Gun Kelly has ever made, Twin Flame. It definitely belongs as a perfect companion to Tickets, and listening to both all the way through is just a great experience. As much as I love this album, though, I still do not understand why MGK ejaculates so much.
Kids see ghosts sometimes. Spirit.
Alright, number 4, Kids See Ghost, released 2018 by Kids See Ghost, which is a short-lived psychedelic rap rock duo, which I really, they need no introduction because they're two of the most famous artists of all time, Kid Cudi and Kanye West. So this is by far the most recent entry on the list. Now, the only reason it wasn't on the list before is because I didn't know it existed. But like, holy fuck. This album is just straight bangers. Like, this is the only album on this list that there isn't a song that I can say, yeah, that's objectively a bad song. Like, even the album that's at my number 1 spot has one. And in fact, there aren't very many albums that I can think of that don't have at least one stinker. But not this. The worst one on the album, in my opinion, is Feel the Love. And that's like a 9. A high 9. This album is like the most solid and complete album I think I have ever listened to. And I'll be honest, the only reason it doesn't crack the top 3 is because the top 3 hold special places in my heart that will be hard to outdo for anything. But it's at 4, which is pretty fucking good for an album I didn't know existed until a couple weeks ago, so. Alright, taking the bronze spot is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, released 2010 by Kanye West. So this is most likely the only album on the list that if I were to say that it is objectively a top 10 album of all time, a lot of people would agree with me. When you have Runaway, which Rolling Stones has ranked as a top 25 song ever, and also All the Lights, Power, and Gorgeous all in the same album, you know that Kanye was on point.
She asked me where I was from. I said somewhere you know.
Alright, coming in at number 2, taking the silver spot is Dangerous, released 2021 by Morgan Wallen. This album covers just about every country cliche in the book, and yet it just hits different. Quite a few of the songs are about the same topic, drinking away feelings, only for it to just exasperate them, which is unfortunately very relatable for me. Something I'm not proud of, but it is a big reason why this album resonates so much with me. You got the sad songs, the love songs, which are also sad to me, but we don't need to get into that. And then you got the generic hype country redneck songs. And like, I'm aware that pretty much every country album in existence has all of this, but what sets it apart for me is just Morgan Wallen's delivery. He's a great singer, but his singing voice almost sounds like he's talking to you, and it's just a joy to sing along to it, and that's a quality I appreciate. And before we unveil the number one album, here are a few honorable mentions.
So this is what you meant when you said that you would spend. And now I overheard that she was 19. She's got a fake ID and a nose ring. Those kind of girl was a young boy. My father took me into the city to see a marching band. Won't you help me sober up? Growing up, it made me numb, and I wanna feel.
'Cause he's a fun boy, and they're all the same.
I'm off on the adventure. We're good.
That tonight's gonna be a good night. My money right. I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I awoke, I spent that on a necklace. I got my toes in the water, ass.
You scared me to death, but I'm wasting my breath. 'Cause you only listen to your fucking friends. I don't relate to you.
Don't wanna be an American idiot. Don't want a nation under the new media. I call dream of Californication. I wake up at noon and my mind's feeling foggy, so I shoot tequila like a morning cup of coffee. I do. Take what you want. Take everything. Take what you want.
Everywhere I go, I got a million different people trying to kick it, but I'm still alone in my mind. I know you're dying to meet me.
The devil wants to play okay. The devil wants to play okay.
Out there, it's hard to believe that I'm all alone. Yeah, stay up, take Addies, yeah. I'm trying to fix this damage, yeah. I'm in my head again. I took more medicine, ripped up, let me go. Whoa, whoa. I sold some tickets to come.
Alright, coming in at number one is Tickets to My Downfall, released 2020 by Machine Gun Kelly. Alright, I've been made fun of a lot for liking Machine Gun Kelly. I understand where some of the hate comes from him. Is he a good person? Fuck no. However, as much as people hate him, I never understood the amount of pushback people seem to have for him switching to punk. And it makes me laugh when people say, ugh, this isn't punk, or MGK sold out, he left rap because Eminem bitch slapped him. Which is true, Eminem did bitch slap him. But you do realize the act of saying he isn't punk just makes him more punk. This is how out of touch with reality you are, that you forget the theme of the genre you're trying to gatekeep. Like, saying he isn't punk makes him more punk. You are literally becoming the parents to rebel against. He ain't much of a rapper, but his punk slaps. Deal with it. This album is amazing. There is like only one below average song on the entire album. All I know. The rest are just straight bangers. It fits him so much more than his rap, too. And this album features songs about addiction, love, loss. There's hype, hardcore headbangers like World War III and Concert for Aliens, sad boy songs like Lonely and Play This When I'm Gone. And people often say, ugh, this shit is so generic and unoriginal, and MGK is so pretentious. Lonely is literally about his dead dad and aunt. And Play This When I'm Gone is a letter to his daughter he wrote when he thought he was going to die. I fail to see where that is generic. I have listened to this album all the way through probably 100 times, and I'm still not sick of it, which is pretty rare for me. So, this album is special. And it is my number one and will be for a long time. Thank you. It's been 6 days since the last time I came on your face. You asked my size, I told you 9. I questioned why, and you said, fuck me till I cry. On the first day, you told me I was the only one who fucked your ass right. And tonight, my balls are full, so take me anywhere and ride. I cannot piss on you yet, you're against that, so I'll just pull your hair instead. I get insecure and panic, cause I know there's no cure for AIDS. You're sucking on me, I'm gonna fucking pre. I'm down bad, horny, I want you to blow me. I got 6 ways to hide my balls, cause I know that you bite. I wish that I could frame the way you look when my head's between your thighs.